Facebook, it's Dr. Rick, and this is my backyard where I wake up to tea in the morning, and sunrise is on the other side, but sunset's awesome. So the topic for today is chunking it down. It's a colloquial term where you take a large concept and you boil it down to small bite-sized pieces. Those of you who see me as a consultant, and by the way, if you have a doctor but you're not getting what you want and you don't have direction, consider consulting me on my website, Herbal 411, New Patient Consult, and I can give you a virtual, no matter where you are in the world, to help guide you out of the suffering. So my colleagues mean well, but unfortunately, because most of us are controlled by insurance, you have to be a prisoner to the hedonic treadmill that we subscribe to. And that's usually based on money. A patient of mine put it well when he said that insurance-based medicine now is incentivized suffering. Because honestly, if you're working as a doctor for an insurance company or for a large corporation, you have to save them money because they pay your paychecks. Now, ultimately, we'd like to say that we are altruistic with our intentions, but a paycheck's a paycheck, and they're not gonna give me a paycheck for not doing anything. In fact, before I left my last job, I was stretching out the visits, so it was looked upon as not standard, so I was ousted. And that, in addition to a couple other things, it's not for me to be an insurance-based doctor because I don't want to be shackled. And I think there are some doctors that are very good with speeding things up and going with algorithm, but in my experience, unless you're at death's door where you can use algorithms to reverse disease, that's not going to work for getting healthy. Wellness is totally different than disease management, and that's what I think insurance is. So the bottom line, though, is when I try to make suggestions on lifestyle change, I can give you a big approach where we're supposed to be as far as a destination, but I can also give you that in chunked down portions. And when I take people for hikes in the national parks, I don't say, I want you to start here, and then I want you to be here, I'll meet you down here. You just have to get over this mountain ridge. So without the proper instruction, that person will not get from point A to point B. Now, a weathered hiker can probably do that. Somebody can navigate using natural structures and stars, but the average patient can't do that. The average client can't do that. So same thing goes with medical disease. You can probably figure out how to be healthy, how to steer clear of crappy food, how to exercise, kind of, and how to get good sleep. But I think that society has its pressures to take that away. Shorten sleep because you can have coffee. Eat bad food because you exercise aggressively. Have alcohol because you deserve it. In fact, you deserve a break today, and that's why you should eat the crappy food. So we're smothered by information that says, take advantage of all the bad stuff because you deserve it. And then we'll take care of you once you have the disease process because you're paying for good insurance. Now, I don't agree, obviously. There's a totally different dynamic that occurs between disease management and wellness exam or wellness, period. And I think that when you try to bottle wellness and you put it in algorithms, you can't, because people are individuals, cultures share totally different dynamics as far as food, kitchen, camaraderie, exercise. So traditional Chinese medicine versus yoga, and India and Ayurveda versus American Indian versus... Bottom line is that we have areas of the world, 5 of them, that have been known as blue zones, and each of those blue zones eats differently. I think there is a common theme as far as it's mostly plant-based, spirituality, being with nature, and having commune with a large family. But short of that, they have their nuances, and that just tells you how different the world is. So if you try to put people, the whole world, into an algorithm, it can't be. It cannot be. Now, if you're at death's door and you're about to have a stroke and you're about to have cancer therapy, there's probably an algorithm that will fit the most diseased human being and bring them back to existence. The question would be, how is that existence going to fare out in the long run? And it's, I think, long-term suffering versus a lot of acute suffering. The bottom line is you want to change life here before the disease manifests. There is a window of opportunity to change around lifestyle before it anchors down. The typical example is diabetes. Now, I have always said that before hemoglobin A1C becomes flagrantly bad, you'll have an insulin level that shows up. And if you don't check the insulin levels, then you're going to have to wait until it's full blown, meaning that hemoglobin A1C is high, glucose elevation is high, and you're at a BMI of 30. Now, why didn't somebody catch that when hemoglobin A1C was creeping up and or the waistline was increasing? It should have been caught earlier, but I don't think that we have the time to discuss those easy lifestyle modifications in the clinic. We only have time to mop up the spills. So don't take no for an answer. If you ask your doctor for help me with lifestyle change outside of medicine, I think it's fair to construct something or at least refer you out. If you don't know what to do with exercise and you have a body part that hurts, you can use physical therapy and it can be covered by insurance. If you don't know what to do with eating or nutrition and you have a deep enough disease process that's advanced, you can take advantage of a registered dietitian. Now, whether that person is also going to be pressed for time, then hopefully that person can guide you out. If you can't get it covered by insurance, or if you don't have insurance that covers that, then you're going to have to pay out of pocket to learn or go to the library. I'm considered a librarian with a lot of my warriors that have annual memberships with me. I will tell them, throw as much information as you want to me. I'll research and I'll feed it back to you, translated. That's my job as a healer and as a coach. But if I am going to be salaried and pressured to speed things up, I'm not going to have time. So I refuse to do that, although I miss the paycheck, but I don't miss the frustration. If you can't fathom going the distance of 100 miles, then we break it up into 10-mile increments, focusing on the crux or the difficulty of the problem or situation. Get over that and it's home free. But bottom line is that if you chunk it down, it'll make it more tangible. It'll make it easier to daisy chain from one goal to the next goal to the next goal. So versus saying I have to have a patient that loses 100 pounds in a year and I'll see you at the year mark. Or I have to have you train for a marathon, I'll see you at the start line. You can't do that. If your provider is giving you that kind of advice, then that person either doesn't have the knowledge or they don't have the time. Either way, it's unacceptable. So you might have to look for another doctor. I do have patients in most continents, but not in Antarctica yet. So looking forward to that. Whoever's in Antarctica, look me up. So I am willing to help. I am not going to be the standard. So if your language is going straight and you understand that and you can fathom going from point A to point B, then God bless you. But if you can't, don't feel bad. Just ask your doctor to break it down into segments, and it might be easier for you to tackle the disease process without having to submit to multiple medicines or surgeries. I think there's always a way out. Now, if you wait to the last minute, and I had a 71-year-old wife call me and say she wanted to help her husband. He just had a CT scan of the heart and it shows there's a lot of calcium. He's going for a catheter tomorrow. I mean, there's so much I can do in 12 hours, but I wouldn't wait till the last minute is the bottom line. I think there's always a way out. Even if you have to have something like bypass, brain surgery, cancer surgery, I could still help get through the process, give you knowledge on what else you should be doing, and then help you graduate from the process when the other guys are finished. So there's always a way that integrative medicine can integrate into your lifestyle change. You just have to know that there's options out there. Or if you have had an integrative medicine doctor that has helped you in a good way, please put the comments down below so other people can understand what integrative medicine is about. Hopefully this gives you a little bit of a reason to look forward to going to the doctor's office or getting your blood test results and pressing and investing in lifestyle change. Enjoy the sunset. Thanks for watching up until this point. Don't forget to subscribe to me on my YouTube channel, otherwise I'll see you at the next Herbal 401 highlights.